As I was saying, this is a very high-tech carburetor. Let me just put it the way it should be. This is the lowest part which meets with the air intake, and here is the middle part, this side up, which sits on top of it like this or something, and this is the topmost part. So what happens here in this carburetor is that, as you can see, there is a smaller one, a smaller hole and a larger hole. This is the smaller hole which is generally in use when you're cruising or when you're at idle. What happens is this valve opens to regulate the amount of airflow, and according to the amount of air that is coming there, here is the idle jet. As you can see, this is the idle jet. It sprays in petrol when you are at idle, and this is the secondary jet. What happens is, as the RPMs increases, spray comes in through here, and it sprays as a fountain of air, a fountain of petrol mixing with air, and that happens at medium high RPMs, and for that there is this acceleration pump which activates and sends more fuel. And if the throttle is open really wide completely, then this secondary slot is also activated, which opens with this valve. After 20 years of use and no service, this has properly jammed closed. I've tried quenching the carburetor in diesel for 2 days, and then I tried quenching it in engine oil for another 2 days, and I've tried paint thinner for 2 days, and none of them work. And I've checked in a lot of internet forums and a lot of websites and consulted some people. They say that that thing over there cannot be opened that easily. It's a better investment to buy off a new carburetor than trying to repair it. And so even I have given up. That's the source of trouble. The accelerator pump, however, the screws are not coming out. I've tried various methods, lots of techniques, and yes, you can take it as a warning from my side that if you don't service your car regularly as per the schedule, then you'll be facing with such troubles when big troubles come. I mean, for example, let's say if the carburetor is really clogged up and you need to service it, then these screws will not come out, which will make it impossible for you to service it. And yes, you can take my example, and so service your car on time. That's the primary and the most important thing to do. Yes, there is supposed to be another similar mechanism here. This one is loose, it came out. And so this is about it. There are a lot of holes which do a lot of things. For example, there is one hole here which sends in, I don't know which one of those, but the manual states that there is a hole, most probably one of these, which mixes the air that comes into the intake with petrol, so that instead of just petrol being sprayed from here, there is a mixture of petrol and air coming here. So it's already pre-mixed, and so it mixes even easier with air rather than dumping petrol into this. So this is a very high-tech and complicated carburetor. Depending on what car you have and from what period you have, you might have simpler ones. The bike which I had, Kawasaki KB100, it had a really simple carburetor. It was so simple that there was just a float. On top of it sat a venturi, and there was one hole which came up, and there was a throttle sliding type throttle instead of this butterfly valve, and so it slid up, air came in mixed with petrol, and it just went off. That was it. But this is a more complicated one. So what you need to do is you need to scrape off all the remains of the old gaskets. As you can see in this, there is still remains of old gaskets which cannot be scraped off. You use an old knife or something and scrape it all off, put on new gaskets and put it back on. Okay guys, here we are in the carburetor disassembly, and this is the middle section, and as I pointed out, this is the accelerator pump which was earlier not opening. I almost gave up, but then arrived WD-40, which is sort of a lubricant as well as dirt remover, etc. I've poured it inside and put it for some time and hammered these screws to unjam them out of their place and give them a small rattle, and now they're opening. So it's back to assembly time, and yes, I actually removed it the last time and I attached it once using this old carburetor packing which has these holes, and what I did was to economize on costs, or it was because of sheer negligence. I just put the packing on and I assembled them all, but these holes, they were not properly aligned with these things, and so some of these holes were blocked completely when we were reassembling the whole thing. As you can see, they are not properly aligned even now. So yes, troubles have come. This hole was completely missed like that. So this time I'm doing it properly. I've bought a anabond gasket maker. It is a high temperature silicone which you apply onto the edges and put on the packing material so that it sticks properly.